We certainly like to start that way in front of a sellout crowd, and the Mets had everything going. The offense, the defense on the infield was spectacular. And, of course, the pitching was also good as Bobby Jones pitched a wonderful ball game, his second in a row for the New York Mets this year.
Our umpires tonight, Kerwin Danley has the balls and strikes. The umpires brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Danley helped out by Ed Montague at first base, Bob Davidson at second, and Mike Winters, the umpire, at third. So the Mets, who have won 4 in a row, get set for Game 2 of this series with Florida. One more. We'll also have that one for you here on Fox Sports Net New York. That's tomorrow night when Masato Yoshii faces Brian Meadows. But Orel Hershiser set to go to work for New York. And the lineup that he'll face is devised by Marlins manager John Bowles. Luis Castillo leads off at second. Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop, followed by Mark Kotsay in right, with Derek Lee, the first baseman, in the cleanup spot. Todd Dunwoody is in center. Preston Wilson, the former Met, in left. Kevin Ory is at third base, another ex-Met, George Fabregas, behind the plate, and also a product of the Mets farm system. The starting pitcher for Florida tonight, Jesus Sanchez, who has not been around nearly, Ralph, as long as Mr. Hershiser.
Orel has been a great pitcher, an MVP-type pitcher, and certainly acquisition the Mets are hoping will put them over the top. He is a extremely bright young man and articulate, and he knows exactly what he has to do when he pitches.
His first start was last Friday night against the Expos in Montreal, a game won by the Expos. Mets have only lost twice through their first 8 games. New York having won their last 4. The Marlins have lost their last 3. Orel Hershiser did not have real good command of that sinker that he's still able to break for strikes. As for a good part of that game Friday, Orel Hershiser uncharacteristically was pitching from behind in the count.
Well, he also did not get the support he needed. He is a ground ball pitcher and likes to see the ball on the ground. The Mets have a defensive infield that is outstanding. And the defense for the New York Mets, Ricky Henderson in left field, Allensworth in center field, Bonilla in right, Ventura, Ordonez, Alfonso, and Overwood with that great defense in the infield, but Todd Pratt doing the catching. Allensworth with 3 starts in center field, and he is a very good defensive ball player, has good speed. And of course, Ricky Henderson also with that good speed.
Luis Castillo, first ball hitting, and Hershiser throws him out, 1 man away.
That is the 3rd time that Castillo has tried to bunt in this series in 2 games. Twice he was thrown out by Ventura at third base on brilliant plays, and here he decides to try and pull the ball and doesn't get it by the pitcher. He says, that is my game. I have to bunt to get on base, and he does the fake bunt and the half swing and right back to Hershiser.
Well, after what Ventura did to him on Monday, it's understandable why Castillo would look in a different direction. Robin Ventura, and you called it, Ralph, 2 Brooks Robinson plays to rob Castillo of bunt base hits, and now it's 0-1 to Gonzalez. There's that sinking fastball, 0-2. Alex Gonzalez, the Marlins rookie shortstop. Baseball America called him the top prospect in the International League last year. He elevates, and in right field, Bobby Bonilla puts it away for the second out. So Hershiser gets 2 quick ones, and now it'll be Mark Kotsay, the Florida right fielder. Well, Ralph, this Florida Marlins team has been in a horrendous batting slump throughout most of their first 7 games. They've only won 2 of 7. They're last in the National League in hitting, and John Bowles has gotten only 1 home run from his batting order this year, and that was Preston Wilson, who did it against the Mets last week. Kotsay is a guy they'll look to for base hits. Chops one the wrong way because Ordonez is going to get anything hit that way, and it's a quick one. 1, 2, 3 for Hershiser. The Marlins go in order. The Mets are coming up here at Shea. Oral Hershiser made easy work of the Florida Marlins at the top of the first inning. So now the Mets will come up, and Bobby Valentine's lineup for tonight features Ricky Henderson in the cleanup spot, or leadoff spot, pardon me, in left field. You won't move him from that top spot. Alfonso batting second at second with Olerud at first. Bonilla in the cleanup position tonight. Robin Ventura bats fifth and plays third base. Jermaine Allensworth getting his second start this season in center field. Todd Pratt behind the plate with Ray Ordonez at shortstop, and Oral Hershiser on the mound. And this is the lineup that will go after Jesus Sanchez. The Mets beat Sanchez last week. Sanchez, lasting 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 2 runs. One of those runs coming on a home run by Ricky Henderson. Jesus Sanchez, 24 years of age, out of the Dominican Republic. And he was involved in the deal that brought Al Leiter to New York from Florida. And a fastball over at the knees. 0-1 to Ricky Henderson. Remember, last week Henderson got on against Sanchez his first time up. And Sanchez picked him off. Ricky thought it was a balk move. He didn't protest too much as far as the umpires were concerned, but afterwards he was pretty convinced that Sanchez, Ralph, I guess, has that similar kind of lefty balk move that Steve Carlton had and Jerry Koosman picked up.
Well, left-handers usually do have a balk type move when they throw over the first. He has a great pickoff move. He is really tough that way. He also has good stuff.
On the ground to third, Kevin Orie across the diamond, and Henderson is out, 1 man away.
Henderson has had 72 leadoff home runs in the ball game. That's an all-time record. It isn't even close. And I think the next to him was 35, and that was Bobby Bonds.
So Ricky Henderson, the league leader in on-base percentage, will have to wait before he can get on base tonight. Edgardo Alfonso, the batter now, in the top 10 of the National League as far as hits over this first week plus of the season. He's had 12 already, and he's hit safely in 7 of the Mets' first 8 games. 1-0 outside, 2 balls, no strikes on Alfonso. Jesus Sanchez has battled his way to the big leagues after twice having undergone elbow surgery. And he's way up high, 3-0.
He is one of 16 children. He has 6 brothers, and he's had to battle all his life with all those kids trying to get fed.
How'd you like that shopping list around the holidays? Ball 4 to Alfonso. And now we'll be able to watch Sanchez and his pickoff move.
The defense for the Marlins: Wilson in left field, Dunwoody in center field, Coates is the right fielder, Orie at third, Gonzalez at short, Castillo at second base, and Lee at first. Fabregas will do the catching.
So Alfonso, not a base stealer necessarily, being held on in front of the runner by the first baseman Derek Lee. And John Olerud, who's had 4 for 5 against Sanchez in the past, takes a strike. So a hit and run possible here, and Olerud checking in with Cookie Rojas at third. And the 0-1 delivery off the inside corner. How much, Ralph, you think a guy like Ricky can learn by sitting on the bench and watching Sanchez's move from the dugout as opposed to simply as a base runner?
He can learn a lot. He has never seen him before.
It's driven to right field. Kotsay with a diving catch. A brilliant catch by Kotsay. Alfonso back to first. And Mark Kotsay took an extra base hit away from John Olerud.
Well, this is a great play in right field. Also a good bit of base running by Alfonso, as he does not get double off. This could have been a chance for a double play after the catch, but Alfonso held and stayed close enough to the bag at first to be able to get back. Very good base running by Edgardo.
And full extension by Katse, the right fielder, to keep Alfonso at first. And now he gets a first-hand look at that pickoff move.
Right here, you see Alfonso hold up. He sees the catch being made and gets back to first base.
Bobby Bonilla, the batter. He had 3 hits on Monday. And he takes a strike from Sanchez, 0-1. And even though the batting average is at 200, his on-base percentage, and this is for those who claim that batting averages are overrated, Bobby Bonilla will buy into that, at least for the time being, because of the fact he's drawn 8 walks. His on-base percentage is .429. Fouled back, 0-2, and your best leadoff hitters in the game would like to have a .429 on-base percentage.
Well, base percentage is really a very important stat. It's more important than batting average, but of course years ago they didn't keep records on your on-base percentage. Getting there as a batter with a base hit or a walk or being hit by a pitch ball.
Sanchez ahead 0-2. And a calling card to Alfonso.
Interesting thing in this ball game, Bob Davidson is the umpire at second. He calls more balks than the entire league. We'll probably see a chance for a walk in this good ball game.
Good combination with Sanchez's controversial move and Davidson. It's in the dirt. Nice stop by Fabregas. Call him Balking Bob. But you know, Ralph, he actually graded out quite well. Well, I don't know that Ricky had much to say about it because he was in the American League the last few years after having spent some time in San Diego. But Bob Davidson graded out very well in that survey that baseball people took of the Major League umpires.
He is a good umpire, and there are a lot of good umpires. There's no question about that. One thing you look for is consistency. You know he calls balks, so you have to be aware of that.
He called a balk. Do you remember the game? I believe it was in Cincinnati about 10 years ago. There was an intentional walk.
He called a balk.
And he called Tim Tuffle was on second base, I believe, and there was an intentional walk being issued. And he called it intentional, or he called a balk.
That is really going too far.
2-2 to Bonilla, switch hitter, batting from the right side against Sanchez. And now it's a full count. So that means Alfonso will not have to worry about an outfielder making a diving catch here. He'll have an automatic start at first base. Last of the first here at Shea. Mets and Marlins, no score. So Bonilla with a full count. Alfonso on the move, and the ball fouled off.
The one thing you have to do when you're running on a 3-2 pitch is make sure the pitcher goes home. You're not really trying to seal the base. You're just trying to be in motion. You can't get picked off in a situation like this. Of course, the first baseman, Derek Lee, is back of the runner.
Alfonso moving, and the pitch is high, ball 4, and another quality at-bat by Bobby Bonilla. It may seem like just another walk, but remember, he was behind in the count 0-2. And Ralph, this is something the Mets have done especially well over this first week. Work the pitcher.
It is a very important thing. 1999, 47 walks, 49 strikeouts. Last year, 33 walks and 61 strikeouts. Mets have really changed their operation about getting on base and staying on base. And Henderson a big part of that. Bobby now has reached base 5 straight times. 3 hits and 2 walks.
And Robin Ventura, off of a big day against the Marlins on Monday, takes a strike. Did it with his glove. He did it with his bat. He has hit in all 8 games so far. 2 for 4 in the home opener. Big 2-run double off the center field wall. And the 0-1 off the glove of Fabregas. So Sanchez now starting to struggle a bit with his control. Walked Alfonso. Mark Kotze made a big play. John Olerud in right field diving to take an extra base hit away. And then Sanchez lost Bonilla after being in front 0-2. So Fonzie at second, Bonilla at first. And the 1-1. High.
Last year, there were only 3 left-hand hitters in the major leagues whose slugging average against left-handers was at least 50 points higher than against right-hand pitching. Ken Griffey, Tony Gwynn, and Robin Ventura.
Pretty classy company. And the 2-1 way inside. So that's 21 pitches now thrown by Sanchez here in the first. 12 of them have been for balls, and contrast that with the work of Oral Hershiser, who needed only 5 pitches to get out of the first inning.
Sanchez has started 3 times against the Mets, twice in 1998, and he has walked 12 batters.
Great spot here for Ventura. 3-1. And it's fouled straight back, so again the runners will have the automatic start. Sanchez, a distance runner back in the Dominican Republic. Runs those 10K races. He's actually talking about entering the New York City Marathon this year. He's had close to a marathon of a first inning. So again, free start for the runners. There they go. And it's driven to left center field. Dunwoody on his horse, going back. And at the wall, he makes the catch. So Todd Dunwoody, who couldn't hold a drive at the center field fence from Ventura on Monday, runs this one down. The Marlins flash some leather here in the first inning to keep the Mets off the board. First Kotsay and then Dunwoody. No runs, no hits. 2 walks, 2 left. Scoreless, end of 1. Oral Hershiser throws a strike on the outside corner to Derek Lee to start the Florida second. Middle of the Marlins batting order. Lee to be followed by Todd Dunwoody and Preston Wilson. And that's hit to straightaway center. Allensworth is there. 1 man away. So Hershiser has retired the first 4. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the new Dodge. It's about change. And the skies will change, at least in terms of the amount of light, but here we are at 7:30 and still a nice amount of daylight. And Dunwoody hits the first pitch right at Alfonso. They had Alfonso playing in the hole with that left-hand batter, and he hit it right to him.
3 of the first 5 batters for the Marlins have hit the first pitch. That's got to be happiness for Hershiser.
How much of that, Ralph, you think has to do with respect for Hershiser, because traditionally he's always around the strike zone as opposed to being overly aggressive?
I think the reputation precedes him. They know he's a good pitcher, knows how to pitch. And he certainly is the type of pitcher that you're not going to gain much by trying to get a good pitch to hit. He didn't throw that many.
Preston Wilson takes ball 1. Oral Hershiser was glad to come to the Mets because he loves this place. Shea Stadium now in its 36th year of business, and he'll love this infield before this season's over. He probably does already. Easy play for Ray Ordonez, and that's 6 in a row, retired by Hershiser. So another easy inning for Oral. Sanchez will have to go right back to work for Florida.
Fox Sports Net New York, home of the Mets.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Fox Sports Net New York is prohibited. So we head to the last of the second. Easier time so far for Hershiser, who's thrown only 10 pitches, 5 in each of his first 2 innings, than Jesus Sanchez has had. He needed 22 to get out of the first inning. Now he'll go to work against Jermaine Allensworth, Todd Pratt, and Ray Ordonez here in the second. I'm sure Sanchez, Ralph, would have enjoyed a little more time on the bench.
That was a very quick inning, and of course he was really helped out by 2 outstanding plays in the first. So he'd be behind by at least by 2 runs.
Fastball, 1-1 to Jermaine Allensworth. Remain's other start was in Hershiser's other game. It was on Friday night in Montreal. Actually, I'm sorry. Hershiser pitched Thursday, not Friday. He pitched the first game of the Montreal series. Sato Yoshii pitched Friday, and Yoshii will go tomorrow night. 2-1 here to Allensworth. Side, ball 3. Now Leiter, of course, former Florida Marlin. And a full count to Allensworth. So again, talk about working the pitcher as the Mets have done so effectively through their first 8 games. Sanchez has now run 3 full counts through the first 6 batters. Allensworth leading off the second. And the payoff pitch upstairs. So that's 3 walks now issued by Sanchez. And Mike Piazza is doing some underwater work. Piazza getting that knee ready to go. Thinks he'll be all set when he comes off the disabled list in about 10 days. About to take BP. I think he says he'll be ready to go there tomorrow. And he's been doing some flexing underwater. And Todd Pratt has been more than capable as his replacement. Pratt now has hit in 4 straight games.
After that opening day game, the Mets' entire team was underwater in their clubhouse. The water line broke and the clubhouse was wet.
Boy, was it ever. Bobby Valentine, though, singled equipment manager and clubhouse manager Charlie Samuels out for praise for getting it back in shape. Locker room actually looked pretty good before the game. Ricky Wilson reminding Allensworth of Sanchez's move there too. That last one was close, and this one was pretty close too. So Sanchez is yet to come home to Pratt. 3 walks now issued by the Marlins starter.
I have never really understood the advantage of a first baseman playing off the bag with a runner at first who can run.
And time call.
Basically, the first baseman wants to get as much away or get as far away from the bag as he can when the ball comes to the plate. But you can get off that bag that far by staying on the bag and bouncing off.
Sanchez comes home. Pratt fouls it back.
I believe this was first started by Jim Leland, who was the manager of the Marlins. Bobby Valentine picked it up. He does it too. And John Bowles is doing the same thing now.
You know where Leland said that he got the idea? From George Kissel.
Well, George was a great baseball man with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's one of the best ever.
Nothing in 1 to Pratt. Allensworth at first. Nobody out here in the second. Low 1-1.
But to me, it's very tough for the pitcher to throw over to first base when he doesn't have a target there. Target the first baseman is moving toward the bag as the ball comes.
Becomes a timing mechanism.
Really is a tough timing thing, and it goes awry many times.
It's quite a cat and mouse game with the runner. In this case, Allensworth alongside the first baseman, and Pratt with a rip into the left field corner. Allensworth on his way to third. Cookie Rojas waving him in. Here's the relay throw to the plate. It's dropped by Castillo. He can't make a throw. Double and a run batted in for Todd Pratt. The Mets are leading by a score of 1-0.
Pratt filling in for Mike Piazza. Won a ball game for the Mets in Montreal in the 11th inning with a single that drove in the winning run. And right here it puts the Mets on top with a base hit. And the Mets lead 1-0.
Well, Bobby singled Pratt out for praise earlier tonight, and now Pratt doubled to reward him.
Gets a good fastball here and rips it down the left field line, no doubt about that. A 2-base hit and a run scored, and good base running by Allensworth, scoring from first base.
So now it's Ray Ordonez and Sanchez way outside. Cookie Rojas was sending Allensworth around all the way. Castillo was poised to make a relay throw, but he dropped the ball. Or else there might have been a play at the plate. But Cookie has been extremely aggressive over these first 8, now into his 9th game, and it's paid off several times. 1-0 New York here in the 2nd. Pratt, the runner at 2nd. Ordonez shortening up. It's 2-0.
Ordonez is here's Cookie waving the runner in. He's saying come on over, and now he says go on. Play might have been pretty close at home if the ball had not been dropped, and the Mets take the lead.
And the 2-0 to Ordonez, and it's popped into the air to short left field. Preston Wilson makes the catch, 1 away.
That's the one thing that you don't want to see Ordonez do, put the ball in the air. He has worked hard to keep the ball on the ground. He was even thinking about moving the runner over the 3rd on a bunt attempt. But here he pulls the ball to left, does not get the runner over.
And that'll bring up the pitcher, Oral Hershiser, who was an outstanding hitter as a pitcher. You know what, Ralph? Bobby Bonilla has done lots of this stuff lately. Taking players under his wing. I don't know if he's talking to him specifically about Sanchez or about driving the ball.
I think he was talking to him about not hitting the ball to left field.
Don't do what you just did.
Yeah, that's the one thing he didn't want to do. He has to try and make that ball go to the right side.
He was walking around over the weekend in Montreal, Bonilla was, talking to several of the players about how they'll get through Mike Piazza's absence. And boy, Todd Pratt has certainly enabled them to do that so far.
And also one thing they have to keep in mind, Hershiser is a good hitting pitcher. He's not a give-up when he goes to the plate. So if he had moved the runner over the 3rd, a lot of things could have happened.
Trying to force the Marlins to pull that infield up. Make it easier for Hershiser, who shows bunt. He takes a strike. It's 2-1. For a pitcher, that's pretty good, but he's never hit a big league home run. He's accomplished most everything else. Cy Young Award winner, World Series MVP.
59 scoreless innings, all-time record.
3-1 to Hershiser. And Sanchez really showing signs of struggling. In fact, he's been struggling so far, but he can get into a king-size hole if he walks the pitcher here. John Bowles, by the way, lost his opening day pitcher, Alex Fernandez. Remember, Fernandez had that rotator cuff surgery. He's back on the DL, but it's more as a precaution. Full count now to Hershiser. Fernandez missed all of last year, but he's got some inflammation in the rotator cuff now. And, you know, with some cold weather here and in Philadelphia, where the Marlins go next, they're going to be very conservative. They gave him a cortisone injection. And he'll start throwing off a mound again in about 7 or 8 days. And the payoff pitch in the air to short right. Kotze's got it. 2 men away. So Hershiser out, and that'll bring up Ricky Henderson. When the manager comes over and talks to you, you take it to heart. And Ray Ordonez, no doubt, still lamenting getting the ball in the air for the first out of this inning. Now Ricky bats with 2 men away, and Pratt at 2nd. Sanchez has walked 3 already. Henderson has drawn a league-leading 11 walks. Did he go around? No. His first base umpire, Ed Montague. Get on base and you've got wheels like Ricky, you wind up scoring plenty of runs. So he has walked more than anyone in the league. He has scored more runs, 10 than anyone in the league. Stands to reason. 2-0 to Henderson. Ralph, can you remember Sanchez throwing strike one to anyone?
Might have done that a couple of years ago. We haven't seen it up here.
Showed you a moment ago a host of pitches already thrown by Jesus Sanchez. His defense has helped him out. On the outside corner, 2-1. Or else Jesus could be in a worse hole than just 1-0. Rat takes his lead. Outside, 3-1.
Well, Henderson is the type of batter that gets a lot of pitches. He leads the league in pitches thrown to him at the plate. And he is that type of hitter. Now he's in a very good hitting spot right here. Looking fastball. If he gets the fastball, he could take it downtown.
The 3-1 to Henderson. And again, a full count.
Well, he got the fastball. It happened to be a tough pitch to hit. And he swung right through the pitch. Ball out over the plate.
Sanchez gave up a home run to dead center field to Ricky Henderson last week. Now it's 3-2 with 2 out. Rat leads from second. And the payoff pitch. All the way. Henderson hanging in. Laurel Hershiser has only thrown 10 pitches through 2 innings. Sanchez has thrown what? Just about 5 times that much now.
Pretty much so.
It was extremely windy here at Shea Stadium earlier today. At least according to the center field flagpole right now, it's not too bad. So this is again a payoff pitch, and it's low. 4 walks now issued by Sanchez.
And now all 4 of the walks come in on 3-2 pitches. So he has thrown a lot of pitches here in 2 innings.
He has now thrown 48 pitches, 27 of which have been balls. Fabregas just trying to settle him down. Nobody up yet in the Marlins bullpen. John Bowles certainly doesn't want to get anybody up in the 2nd inning. Hershiser is just trying to stay loose. Must have spent lots of time in the batter's box through these first 2 innings. Alfonso drew a walk in the 1st inning. And again, ball 1. That may be his epitaph as far as tonight's game is concerned. He threw ball 1. Ron Bowles knows it all too well. But managing the Marlins is about dealing with growing pains. Used 27 rookies last year. 2-0. Only 5 Marlins who made the opening day roster this year are rookies. But that stands to reason. They used just about the whole system last year.
When you think of the players that they traded away from the World Championship Club 2 years ago, it's amazing. Kevin Brown would be one. Moise Salou. Al Leonard. Ray Counsell, of course, scored the World Series winning run against the Cleveland Indians on an Edgar Renteria hit. Game 7. Renteria now, St. Louis Cardinal. And it's 3-0 to Alfonso. He's a pitch away from loading the bases with Olerud on deck. Now it's 3-1. Two pitches were in the 2nd inning. That's driven to center. Dunwoody on his horse again. And this time it's beyond his reach. It'll cost the Mets a run because it hops over the wall. So it's a ground rule double, meaning Henderson will have to go back to 3rd. But
It's an RBI double for Edgardo Alfonzo, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead.
Well, Alfonso took the 3-0 pitch, and it was called a strike. It was a tough pitch to hit. And Sanchez came back with this fastball, and Alfonso hits it hard. The center fielder, Dunwoody, misjudged this ball. But I don't think he could have caught it if he had not. He thinks he can catch this thing, and it's hit harder than he figured. And it cost the Mets a run. 3 would have scored. And the Mets, with the bases loaded, get 2 in.
Well, you know, Ralph, I'm looking at the flags, and in center field, it's just a mild breeze. The flags atop the stadium are blowing a little more briskly. I mean, Joe Namath and Jim Turner are about the only ones who ever figured the winds out in this place, but this is really in contrast to Monday when there was a jet stream blowing out to left through the first half of the game, and it caused havoc for the outfielders.
Mets have had the bases loaded 11 times this year, and they've had 4 hits. The Marlins have never had the bases loaded this year.
That's taking you right to the source, huh? Olerud takes a fastball high. So Sanchez continues to throw ball 1. Remember, first base is open. Bobby Bonilla is on deck. And Olerud was robbed by Mark Kotsay in right field in the first inning. Runners lead from second and third. And that's a strike, 1-1 to John Olerud. John, 5 doubles already this year. That's the most in the National League. And the 1-1 delivery. Off-speed pitch high. So again, Sanchez behind in the count. 2-1 to Olerud. It's Henderson at third. He walked, and he got there on Alfonso's ground rule double, which scored Pratt. Mets with a 2-0 lead. Henderson trying to distract Sanchez at third base. Low, 3-1.
And still no action in the bullpen. I guess they're just now starting to move out there.
Now they're just going to put them on all together. So on a 3-1 pitch, they make it an intentional walk to Olerud. Here we are in the second inning. The 5th Met to draw a free pass. First one of the intentional variety. And now Bobby Bonilla with the bases juiced.
Bobby has had 3 hits and 2 walks in his last 5 at-bats.
So he's hit 8 grand salamis. Sanchez working from the stretch, and again he throws ball 1. Which means advantage Bonilla. He's got to throw a strike. The bases are loaded. There are 2 out, and he's behind the batter 1-0. Bonilla had a good rip, but fouled it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets with a 2-0 lead. They've scored twice in the inning. And this will be the 61st pitch already from Sanchez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bonilla officially has had 4 hits and 20 at-bats. 1 for 6 as a right-hand batter. So Henderson at third. Alfonso at second. And Olerud at first with 2 men away. It'll be a 1-2 pitch to Bonilla. And it's low. Bonilla ready. Here's the 2-2. So the breaking ball misses, and now the carousel will be in motion. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ralph, you have to figure if he doesn't get Bonilla here, it'll probably be the last pitch that he throws.
Could be, and he went with a curveball on the 2-2 count. A real gamble there, and he didn't get it in the strike zone.
So they're standing at Shea. Bonilla lays off. Sanchez has walked in a run. 3-0 New York. The 6th walk issued by Jesus Sanchez. And remember, this is the 2nd inning. So Bonilla picks up his 2nd run batted in of the year, and Ricky Henderson, who drew the walk, scores another run, upping his league-leading total to 11. And for the time being, John's going to stay with Jesus Sanchez because a left-hand batter, Robin Ventura, is coming up.
Ventura robbed of an extra base hit his last time up, his first time in this game.
First ball hitting, hit hard, but Lee will take it to the bag. So the Mets bat around. They send 9 men to the plate. 3 of them score. There were 2 hits, both doubles. And the Mets leave the bases loaded. 3-0 New York. Well, when Jesus Sanchez took the mound to start the last of the 2nd, there was a lot more daylight than you just saw. And that's what happens when you wind up throwing 65 pitches in just 2 innings. In some ways, Ralph, he's fortunate it's only 3-0. Hershiser starts Kevin Ory off, breaking ball downstairs, 1-0.
3 really good plays behind him to get him out of the worst situation. That ball that was hit by Ventura handled well at first base by the first baseman, Lee.
2-1 now to Ory. And you need to wonder about Oral Hershiser, and will he need a little extra time to loosen up again after a long inning on the bench? Remember, he threw 5 pitches in each of the first 2 innings. He's already thrown 4 in this at-bat to Kevin Ory. 3 balls, 1 strike. Ory to be followed by George Fabregas and the pitcher Jesus Sanchez. And now it's Hershiser who's run a full count. Bob Apodaca says he's been doing a lot more listening to Hershiser than talking to him. Just getting acquainted with Hershiser's repertoire, what he likes to do between starts. When you're 40 and you're as accomplished as he is, even the pitching coach figures he could learn a few things. And Ory goes around, so Hershiser has his first strikeout. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Infinity. Own one and you'll understand. Let's put it this way, Ralph. If there were a hitting coach with the Pittsburgh Pirates in the midst of your 7 straight seasons leading the National League in home runs, would he have had a whole lot to tell you?
Well, they can help you when you get into trouble, and they certainly are observant and check out what you might be doing differently in certain situations. The Pirates had a great hitting coach, George Sisler, one of the great hitters of all time when I was there, and ironically, he never did talk to me about hitting. I was dumb and didn't listen if he would have, I guess.
Fabregas lifts it in the air to right field. Bonilla's there. And that's the 2nd out. Of course, you were ahead of the coaches because you're the one who was carrying that projector around and filming yourself, right?
Yeah, that was way before they got into film. And now, of course, they look at TV of all the pitches, all the games, all the plays.
Well, Jesus Sanchez is done for the night. 2 out, nobody on here in the 3rd inning, and after having thrown 65 pitches and walking 6, albeit one of the intentional variety, after falling behind Olerud 3-1, Craig Counsell will hit for him. So Counsell, now the backup second baseman for the Florida Marlins, having lost the job to Luis Castillo, will be the pinch hitter. Maybe trying to figure out what hit him. Again, Hershiser induces a ground ball. And Oral has retired the Marlins in order in each of the first 3 innings. So at the end of 2.5, Sanchez can now put it in the past tense. 3-0 New York. Well, last year the Mets staged a neat Friday night promotions where the first 800 fans with a Pepsi can or bottle were able to get into the Pepsi picnic area at Shea Stadium for free, and they're doing it again. The action starts this Friday, April 16th. So show up at Shea for free. Friday night, it'll be the Mets and the Montreal Expos. And a former Met farmhand, Brian Edmondson, takes over the pitching, and already he's a step ahead of Sanchez. He just threw strike one. Jermaine Allensworth to be followed by Todd Pratt and Ray Ordonez. Low 1-1. What a contrast. Hershiser, in 3 innings of work retiring the Marlins in order, has thrown a total of 20 pitches. Sanchez done for the night after throwing 65 over 2 innings. Just missed. 2-1. Allensworth, one of 6 Mets who were granted bases on balls by Sanchez. Off the hands, it's 2-2. Brian Edmondson originally was drafted by the Detroit Tigers. Then the Mets claimed him off waivers. That was in 1995. The Braves took him from the Mets in the Rule 5 draft in '97. But he didn't pitch for the Braves until last year when he got into 10 games with them. And then the Marlins took him off waivers from Atlanta. He got into 43 games in Florida. 3-2 now to Allensworth. That's basically been the routine tonight, Ralph. 3 balls, 2 strikes by a Florida pitcher.
5-3-2 counts by Sanchez, and now another by Edmondson.
Allensworth stays alive. Mets riding a 4-game winning streak. Lost the first game of the series in Florida last week. Lost the first game of the Expos series. That was last Thursday. Haven't lost since. And now Allensworth draws a leadoff walk. So John Bowles, figuring at the very least his luck would change when he changed pitchers, sees more of the same. We talked early in the game, Ralph, about the Mets working the pitchers better than they have in years, but they're getting some help tonight. Todd Pratt has cashed in. One of the 2 hits for the Mets so far, a Pratt double down the left field line.
Well, when you're wild like this and pitching behind the batter, base hits are going to be hard because they're getting fastballs.
Allensworth running. Pratt loops one the other way. Kotsay got a good jump. They may get a double play. But Allensworth beats it back to first base. So on the hit and run, Pratt hit it to short right field. Kotsay got a good jump on the ball. And there's 1 out.
Well, Edmondson is the type of pitcher that gets the ball over the plate most of the time, and the hit and run is more effective when you have pitchers that can do that, and they use the hit and run there. Even though the Mets have had 7 walks in this ballgame. You probably wouldn't hit and run with Sanchez in the mound because he is not around the plate that often.
And you see now with a right-hand pitcher in Edmondson, Derek Lee holding in the conventional manner rather than playing in front of the runner as he was with a left-hand pitcher. Well, the Ordonez scouting report, Ralph, brought to you by McDonald's, and first inning, or at least his first at-bat, pretty well bears this out.
He went against the scouting report, flied out to left field with a runner at second base and nobody out. Well, Gray has worked hard the last 2 years to keep the ball on the ground, hit it down, and to make contact. They also bunt the ball.
That's hit hard, but right at the shortstop Gonzalez. Lee with a good play just to keep the ball from going off the barrier in front of the photographer's box. So I guess Bobby's got to like that a lot better, because he went over to talk to Ordonez after he hit the ball in the air his first time up. This time he hits a line drive.
Ball was caught in the air, so no chance for the double play unless they complete the double play by doubling the runner off first. They came close, but a bad throw by Gonzalez.
Orel Hershiser takes a strike on the outside corner. Would you say that at bat was more an example of what we showed you on the scouting report, of his taking what the pitcher gives him?
Yes, it was. Lee has worked hard at that, and he's improving.
Hershiser behind now, 0-2. Ordonez not trying to do anything fancy in that last at bat. Hit it on the nose. Now there are 2 out, and Hershiser behind in the count, 0-2. It's 3-0 New York. We're in the third. Allensworth measures his lead, and the breaking ball just missed.
Buckles the knees right there. Those curveballs will do that.
Even up here. There's another one. And this time Hershiser is gone. So Edmondson walks the leadoff man, gives up nothing more. No runs, no hits, just that walk. And at the end of 3, Fran Healy getting set to join you for the next 3. It's 3-0 New York.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. Now it's time for our Aflac trivia question. What is the Mets record for most walks in a season? We'll give you that answer in a few minutes.
That's by one player, right? Well, the all-time record is 170 by Babe Ruth.
They pitch around the Babe a lot, I'll bet. Orel Hershiser pitching now to Luis Castillo. Throws up high, ball 1. Castillo 0 for 1. Bounce back to Hershiser his first time up. And he fouls the ball off, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike on the Marlins second baseman.
The Mets really shorten up in the infield to guard against the possibility of an infield hit by Castillo or a bunt.
And they play very shallow in the outfield. Here's a 1-1 pitch inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. And there's a fly ball left field. Henderson is there and makes the grab, 1 down. Now let's go downstairs to Matt Lachlan. Matty?
Well, Fran, I'm out in the bleachers with Barbara Burke. She's the youth coordinator for the Youth Partnership for Health, and there's a lot of young kids out here, over 100. Tell us why, Barbara.
Well, we're over 100 strong, and we are fighting against teen smoking, which is an epidemic. It's been tremendously on the rise in the past few years. And these teens are very brave. They speak out in the midst of a lot of peer pressure to smoke.
And if people want information on how they can help and maybe get involved, is there a number they can call?
Well, we are affiliated with the Queens American Lung Association of Queens, and the number is 800-263-5656.
All right, Barbara, it's a great cause. We also have a 718 number that you can call in addition to the 800. 718-263-5656 is the number to call. Barbara, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, fellas, upstairs to you.
Nice job with that number, Matty. As Alex Gonzalez swings through that sinker. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 man out. We're in the top of the 4th inning. 3-0. The Mets on top of the Marlins. Another sinker from Hershiser. It's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1990, Hershiser had arm surgery. A lot of people felt it would ruin his career, but he came back strong.
He was 99 and 65 before the operation, and after 91 and 69. He's really a great competitor. Really, I call him a bulldog, and he personifies that.
And the 1-2 pitch. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tommy Lasorda gave him that nickname, Bulldog.
There it is, 99 wins, 91 losses, 65. Should say 99 wins in before the operation, 91 after. He was an outstanding hockey player. So the balance is fairly close. He was on his way to being in the Hall of Fame before that arm rotator cuff operation.
And a 2-2 pitch. Bounced up to Ordonez to Olerud. 2 down. Well, during tomorrow night's Mets-Marlins game, Fox Sports Net New York will celebrate Charity Week to benefit the Garden's Cheering for Children Foundation. Live coverage begins at 6:30 with Geico Mets on deck. So tune in for exciting Mets baseball and your chance to help a good cause. Unique gifts will be awarded to contributors who make donations at certain pre-designated dollar amounts. That's tomorrow night right here on Fox Sports Net New York. Marcotte takes ball 1 from Hershiser. 2-men are out. Top of the 4th inning, 3-zip. The Mets on top of the Marlins. That's 0 for 1 in his game. Takes a strike, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. In his first at bat, he grounded to short. Second game of this 3-game series between the Marlins and the Mets. Final game will be tomorrow night. Katse takes ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike on the Marlin right fielder. Foul out of play. You're taught when catching a guy with a sinker ball to give it as low a target as possible. And Pratt has been doing that tonight for the right-hander.
When Hershiser broke the record of scoreless innings, breaking down Dodgerell's record of 58, he had to go extra innings.
Well, Katse goes down and golfs that fastball into center field, base hit.
And the first base hit off Hershiser. Hershiser was pitching the last game of the year and was trying to break that record. He had to go 10 innings and did to break the record. That's an amazing amount of scoreless innings.
Katse going down and golfing that ball into center field.
He has a good swing. He was the top college player when he was playing amateur ball. Good prospect.
He's on first base. The batter, Derek Lee, lined out his first time up, and he gets jammed and fouls the ball out of play. So it's 1-1 on the Marlin first baseman, Derek Lee. The Marlins have been struggling as a team with the bat. And here's the in-game box score. 1 hit so far. Mark Katse just picked it up, a line drive base hit into center field.
Their team batting average is .224 for the year, the second worst batting average in the major leagues, and the worst in the national. And they have only 1 home run, that by Preston Wilson.
And a 1-2 pitch. Lee gets under it. It's a towering fly ball to right field. This should do it for the Marlins here in the 4th inning. They strand a runner. They fail to score. We play 3.5 here at Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York, and it's 3-zip New York.
Show up at Shea for Batting Helmet Day. Sponsored by AC Delco and Tanza Automotive.
Be here on Saturday, May 22nd as the Mets take on their division rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. All kids will take home a Mets batting helmet courtesy of AC Delco and Tanza Automotive. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX.
New year, new team, new magic. Are you ready?
LaGuardia Airport in the background, and once again our Aflac trivia question. What is the Mets record for most walks in the season? Mr. Kiner?
Hard to tell. I bet it's under 100.
It is 97, Strawberry and Keith Hernandez. Right there. Ricky Henderson could break it this year.
Oh, yeah.
He's leading off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 ball, no strike back. He gets Flies the ball to deep center field. Dunwoody cruising back, gets under it, and makes the grab. 1 out. So Henderson out, heading back to the Met dugout. With 1 man gone here in the 4th inning, the batter will be Edgardo Alfonso. Seems like just yesterday when the Mets signed Alfonso, very young age, they said he played much older than his age in Venezuela. He takes the breaking ball up high, 1-0 on Alfonso. Alfonso, 25 years old. He takes inside, 2-0. Might be the most disciplined hitter the Mets have, although you could put Olerud in that category.
Oh, yes. And also Henderson.
Ventura.
We were talking earlier about the fact that on-base percentage is a better indicator of what you do at the plate than batting average is.
It's 2-1 at Alfonso. It's a fly ball down the right field line. Katse coming in and gloving it for out number 2. But talking about offensive stats, I feel that the most important offensive stat of any player is the RBI. And more important than just the RBI, the important RBI.
Of course, they tried to do that with the stat of game-winning runs batted in. I think RBIs after the 7th inning are really important.
And take a look at that in-game box score once again. And he had walked twice in this ball. Olerud, the batter, fouls it off. He lined to right field. Katse taking an extra base hit away from him with an outstanding catch in the 1st inning. And then he picked up an intentional pass in the 2nd. What a play by the right fielder on John Olerud back in the 1st inning.
Now, excuse me, Fran, I was going to say the most runs batted in one season is 190. And that record might never be broken. Hack Wilson in 1930 with the Cubs.
Fouled off. 1-2 on Olerud.
And John right here loses a base hit and a run batted in on this play by Katse. He makes a great catch here. Something you couldn't do with the old gloves, you can do today. One of the reasons why batting averages are down, those gloves.
It's an interesting topic. We'll get back to that. But first, we're going to step away. The Mets have a 3-0 lead. Hershiser's in command, and we'll be back. Dunwoody bounces back to Hershiser. Scored 1-3, 1 down as we start the 5th inning. And New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Propecia. Talk to your doctor today. (3-0). The Mets on top of the Marlins. Preston Wilson steps in and bunts the ball down at 3rd baseline. Ventura unable to come up with it cleanly, and Preston Wilson with a bunt base hit.
Well, this is really a do or die play for Ventura at 3rd. It's a perfect bunt. And even if he had fielded the ball and got it off, I don't think he could have got Wilson. Wilson, the only batter on the Marlins that has a home run. Good try.
Caught Ventura by surprise, but the Marlins have a runner on 1st with 1 out. The batter will be Kevin Orie.
And their 2nd base hit in the game.
Mets have 2 hits. The Marlins with 2. The Mets have 3 runs. As Kevin Orie, who has some pop, takes inside, ball 1. Orie with only 2 RBIs here early in '99.
He was signed by the Cubs and got off to a good start. It was going to be a real star, and then went down in the batting department and was moved over to Florida.
Once he started to struggle, the Cubs made a move. They were down on Ori because he was up over 700 times and only had 16 home runs as he takes inside 3 balls and no strikes. That's funny. Some guys can come into the major leagues. They hit about 280, driving about 70 runs, hit about 7 home runs, and they stay. Hershiser hits Ori, and the Marlins all of a sudden have runners on first and second with 1 man out. And the batter will be the catcher, George Fabregas.
Well, that was really a mistake by Hershiser because he didn't want to hit the batter. Now he's got the time run at the plate with 1 out. This pitch got away. All the pitch you inside, but not in this case.
So runners are on first and second, 1 man out. Top of the 5th inning here at Shea Stadium. The second game of a 3-game series against the Marlins. The final game tomorrow night. Fabregas takes outside, ball 1. After the Marlins leave town, the Expos come in. They'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the 1-0 pitch down in. 2 balls and no strikes. Fox Sports Net New York. Scoreboard 3-0 Mets. Fabregas last year spent some time with the Mets. Bob Apodaca looking at it. Kaiser throws a fastball for a strike, 2-1. Fabregas pulls it foul. Fabregas played his college ball in Southern Florida. Was a good college player. He was in that great arbitration case with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He lost the case, and Jerry Colangelo called him in and gave him a big raise. Ball hit hard, but foul. So we'll do it again at 2-2.
And then he traded him away so he wouldn't have to pay him.
So they said he was a nice guy, and then he traded him.
Came to the Mets.
So he's got a 2-ball and 2-strike count. With the sinker down low, 3-2 on Fabregas. He's batting 167. Hershiser has thrown over 50 pitches so far in this game. It's been a slow game, a very deliberate game.
This is a big pitch for all right here.
Up high, ball 4, so he loses them, and the Marlins now have the bases loaded with 1 man out.
Well, a bunt, hit batter, and a walk, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. And Apodaca going to the mound to talk to the veteran Hershiser.
Hitting for Brian Edmondson, number 46, Bruce Avon.
So Bruce Avon will hit for the pitcher here in the 5th inning. Apodaca talking to Hershiser, trying to calm him down. Ideal situation for Hershiser because they need a ground ball. He's a sinker ball pitcher. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of Major League Baseball. This Bud's for you. Wilson on third. Even swings and misses. Strike 1. You saw Wilson, Ori, and Fabregas.
This is the first time this year that the Marlins have had the bases loaded at any time in a ball game.
It's incredible stat. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hershiser said he'd love to be able to get ground balls to this infield, although he gets a fly ball. Center fielder Allensworth over and makes the grab. Wilson comes in and scores. It's now 3-1 Mets.
I really don't understand that play because it should have been the right fielder making the catch and throwing to third base.
Second baseman,
But Allensworth took the ball in right center and had no chance to make the throw to third to stop the runner from going from second to third base. Bobby coming over. He had the better angle on the throw by far.
So now runners are on the corners, and Luis Castillo is the batter. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Castillo, one of the young Latin infielders in the major leagues, only 23 years old. Fouls the ball out of play.
You know what is amazing? 22 of the 60 regular middle infielders were born outside of the U.S. The Mets had 2, and the Florida Marlins have 2.
Hershiser looking in for the sign. 1 ball and 1 strike on Luis Castillo. He takes outside. 2-1.
44% of the players playing in the major leagues now have been born outside of the U.S.
So it's a bigger pool of players to pick from. Foul off. They're picking from an international pool. The players are getting better and better. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Castillo. Runners on first and third. Saw Ori and Fabregas. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Ground ball is short. This should do it, and it does. The Marlins strand 2, but here in the 5th inning, they pick up 1. We played 4.5 here at Shea, and it's 3-1 Mets. Between innings, as we will wait for commercial break, Bob Apodaca talking mechanics with Oral Hershiser. I remember when they would ask a catcher, what am I doing wrong? Mechanically, a catcher is going to be hard-pressed to come up with a solution to a mechanical problem for a pitcher because he's more concerned with calling the game, keeping everything in front of him. And that's why it's so important to have a very progressive and educated instructor like Bob Apodaca. And Bobby Bonilla steps in to lead it off for the Mets here in the 5th inning. Speaking about educated and good pitchers, it's great to see Tom Seaver throwing out that first ball opening day as Bonilla takes a strike. He looked like he could still throw.
He lost a little bit of his fastball.
We don't want to tell him that.
About 50 miles an hour.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Bonilla. Swung on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. Bonilla has walked twice in this ball game. He'll be followed by Robin Ventura and then Jermaine Allensworth. And the 0-2 pitch. Big Leaky to third base. Ori to Lee. 1 down.
third baseman.
It's time for our Jeep game summary. Bonilla, 2 walks and an RBI. Alfonso, a double and an RBI. How about Alfonso hits in 8 of 9 games. Robin Ventura steps in and takes a strike. 0-1 on the Met third baseman, who's 0 for 2 in this game. He flied out, he grounded out. Ventura takes down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ventura, 31 years old. He's had a solid career with the Chicago White Sox. Down low. Rafael Medina, 2-1. Well, the White Sox, I thought, had a pretty good ball club until they decided to unload a lot of players. Down low. 3-1. Frank Thomas still a member of that White Sox club. Of course, there were rumors he was going to be traded as Ventura fouls the ball back. Ventura, coming out of high school, was not drafted by a professional team. He had one college scholarship offer. He said he was lucky to get that. Oklahoma State, and what a career he had there. Swings and misses. 2 down.
He was really a great college player.
58-game hitting streak.
Got to meet Joe DiMaggio, and of course Joe with the all-time major league hitting streak of 56 consecutive games. Joe hit in 61 games in the Pacific Coast League.
And the batter now, Jermaine Allensworth. He walked both times up. 3-1, the Mets on top of the Marlins. There's a strike. Medina has a very deliberate approach to throwing that baseball. Foul back. I gotta believe somebody along the way told him you're rushing too much towards the plate. Slow it down.
He really does slow it down and then puts it on at the last second. Does that slow move back, slow arm right here, and now pops it there.
And the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball down low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Marlins they have hopes of rebuilding their ball club this year. John Bowles, the manager, has his work cut out for him. They have some pretty good talent on the team. Bobby Bonilla said it's a shame they don't have some veterans that can help the young players. Allensworth pops the ball up in the infield. Gonzalez takes charge and makes the grab for out number 3. So the Mets go quietly here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We played 5 here at Shea Stadium, and it's 3-1 New York. High atop Shea Stadium, a rooftop camera. Youngster waiting for a foul ball. And Alex Gonzalez waits for the pitch from Oral Hershiser, takes inside, ball 1.
You know why more balls are caught in the stands nowadays?
Gloves.
Gloves are better.
You know, we were talking about that a few minutes ago as Gonzalez takes his strike, so it's 1-1. It's amazing how it has changed the game. The players can make spectacular plays one-handed with that glove. Outside, 2-1. If you go up to Cooperstown to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you will. Most of the old-timers did not have, in fact, all the old-timers did not have a glove that size. He's looking at Cooperstown through those glasses. There's a drive into right center field. Bonilla cannot get it. This is extra bases for Gonzalez. Gonzalez on his way to third base. Allensworth gets the ball back in. And the Marlins have their leadoff man on third base with the triple. Bobby Bonilla had a glove about how long? You can only have it 17 inches long.
And they do restrict the size of the gloves, but Bobby unable to get to it to make the play. The gloves are certainly better, and also the infields in Major League Baseball are much better, so hitting 400 might not happen again.
Popped up, foul territory. Robin Ventura under it and makes the grab. So Mark Katze, who was 1 for 2 in his game, is now 1 for 3 as he pops out in foul territory.
Last player to hit 400 in the National League was back in 1930. That was Bill Terry, hit 401. And in the American League in 1941, Ted Woodness hit 406. The last 2 players to hit 400.
Mark Katze will not be in that category, at least not this year. But he is not a happy camper. Derek Lee, who strikes out a lot, swings through a fastball, 0-1. Katze, one of the players the Marlins are hoping will develop into a star in the major leagues.
Also Derek Lee.
Derek Lee. They have big plans for him, but right there, Hershiser just sawed his bat in half. No balls and 2 strikes on Derek Lee. We talk about the size of the gloves will hurt the batting average as we take a look at that foul ball and the broken bat. Also, I think the pitching, the relief pitching, has made it more difficult.
Well, they play the game differently nowadays, and of course you see a lot of different pitchers, and most hitters want to see a pitcher at least 3 or 4 times.
You'd much rather see somebody in the 9th inning that started the game than one of these specialists coming out of the bullpen for 1 inning. 0-2 on Derek Lee. Outside. 1-2.
If Hershiser pitches the way he has pitched in the past, the batter won't get a good pitch to hit here until the count goes to 3-2.
And the 1-2 pitch. There's that sinker that comes back over the outside corner. Outstanding pitch by Hershiser. 2 down.
His second strikeout and a real big one with the runner at third base and 1 out. A perfect pitch. Fastball that breaks back over the outside corner, and you can't make it much better.
How about the movement on that ball and reaction by Hershiser?
And the other thing about that pitch was if he had hit the ball, it would have been hit on the ground.
Todd Dunwoody was 0 for 2 steps in and takes the ball, so it's 1-0 on Dunwoody. Yeah, there's nothing you can really do with that pitch. It started outside and came back and hit the outside part of the plate right on the corner. Dunwoody takes inside. 2-0. That's playing Dunwoody to shade him to pull a little bit in the infield, straight up in the outfield. And a 2-0 pitch on the corner. Nothing you can do with that pitch, Ralph.
Well, it's a great pitch at 2-0. But great pitchers make those types of pitches when they have runners at third and nobody out or 1 out.
Outside, 3-1. Pretty much most of your successful major league pitchers don't throw too many balls over the heart of the plate. They're usually on the corners, or the balls are running off the corner.
If they miss off the strike zone.
There's a hitter's count, 3-1 on Todd Dunwoody. Ball 4. So the Marlins have runners on first and third now with 2 men out. The Mets have a 2-run lead. And the batter will be Mookie's son, Preston Wilson.
Mookie got the first hit of the game, a bunt base hit back in the 5th. And now the Mets have their infield back with 2 men out.
Bob Apodaca walking out. Double switch. Oh, Brian McRae's going to the outfield.
They're looking for a little bit more defense right in this spot with the time run at
there's going to be a pitching change.
First base is going to be a pitching change too.
So Turk Window coming in to relieve Oral Hershiser here in the top of the 6th inning. And as Hershiser leaves, this is an omni-point call to the bullpen. Well, back here at Shea Stadium from our rooftop camera, you're focusing in on Turk Window. Oral Hershiser now, we're watching the dugout. Runners on first and third. Windows' first pitch to Preston Wilson is inside, ball 1. Preston 1 for 2, a bunt single.
The Mets bullpen has a run rate average of 1.38. That's number 1 in the National League. And they've held the batters to a 172 batting average.
And the 1-0 pitch is a fastball inside, 2-0. The roar you heard in the background was because of Turk Window throwing that rosin bag down. Hit hard, but foul. The bullpen has pitched very well this year.
That's about as well as you can pitch right there. Watching the left-hander with 3 hits and 3 earned runs, should be 3 earned runs and 5 2/3 innings.
So it's 2-1 on Preston Wilson. Fastball on the corner, strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. down.
Alan Grabowski.
Got to throw it to get that response from the fans. 2-2. Window to Wilson inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the runner at first will be going with a pitch. And Wendell changing his way of pitching right now, throwing fastballs inside.
Yeah. Staying away from the slider. He's a slider ball pitcher. 3-2 pitch. Popped up. It's playable. Over in foul territory, and that'll do it for the Marlins. Wendell comes in and strands 2 Marlins on the bases. They pick up 1 run. And after 5.5 innings, it's 3-1 Mets.
Hey Mets fans, Pepsi invites you to show up at Shea on Fridays for free admission to the Pepsi picnic area. The first 800 fans with a Pepsi can or bottle will be admitted to the Pepsi picnic area at Shea Stadium for free. Have a great night with your friends and family and enjoy the game from the left field bleachers. The Friday night action starts on April 16th as the Mets take on the Montreal Expos. So bring a Pepsi and show up at Shea for free. Friday, July 9th, not included.
Todd Pratt, who has a double and an RBI in his ball game, will lead it off for the Mets as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Mets scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 2nd, but the relief pitchers for the Marlins have shut them down. Edmondson and Medina have retired 9 straight and have allowed only 1 base run. 3-1 Mets as Pratt takes a ball. The Marlins scored their run in the top of the 5th inning, so it's 3-1. The Marlins have 3 hits, the Mets with 2. And the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed at a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pratt will be followed by Ordonez and then Turk Wendell.
Medina is really sneaky fast with that slow start in the delivery of his pitch and then popping the ball at the last minute.
He popped that slider about 3 feet in front of home plate. 2-1. When you're catching a pitch like that and you realize there's nobody on base, it's not a 2-strike count, you want to get out of the way of it.
Let it go by.
Yeah, but the umpire's there, so you can't. And the 2-1 pitch. All out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Speaking of getting out of the way, on this day in 1960, Eddie Sawyer, the manager of the Phillies, after 1 game, quit. In that year in 1960, and Gene Mauch took over. That's the shortest tenure a manager ever had in a season. He said, this team isn't worth managing.
You know you're going to have a bad year if you're those ball players. It's now 3-2 on Todd Pratt. Exciting ending to the top of the 6th. Turk Wendell coming in and stranding runners on 1st and 3rd as Pratt fouls the ball back. So we'll do it again at 3-2. Wendell summoned from the bullpen to relieve Oral Hershiser.
He really set Mookie up for the last pitch, 3-2. He threw a slider after knocking him back off the plate with 3 pitches, all fastballs.
And the 3-2 pitch. Fastball, fly ball, center field. Dunwoody under it. And makes the grab for out number 1. But let's recap the last out of the top of the 6th inning when Wendell got Preston Wilson with runners on 1st and 3rd. Hershiser looking on, his reaction.
Really a great pitch, as Wendell says, catch it.
Well, there's a contrast in reactions, huh? Ray Ordonez takes up high, ball 1. Earlier in this ballgame, Cookie Rojas, once again, as you look at Turk Wendell, sent the runner on in to score a run. The next batter would have been Ray Ordonez and then the pitcher. So he aggressively coached third base once again. Down low, 2-0. Jermaine Allensworth scored from first base on a double by Todd Pratt. Gonius, it's a fly ball to center field. Done when he makes the grab. 2 down. So with 2 men down, the batter will be Brian McCray. McCray entered this ball game on a double switch. So Brian McCray's first at bat. Historically, the month of April has not been kind to Brian McCray. Takes down low, 1-0. You hope when you're struggling like Brian does during the month of April that the team wins. It won't be overemphasized. Up high, 2-0. Bobby Valentine looking on, and the 2-0 pitch. Fastball on the corner, 2-1.
Mets had 6 walks in the first 3 innings of this game. Got to 7th in the 4th inning, and since then have not had a base hit.
They have a base runner now, Brian McCray. So good speed on first base with 2 men out, and good speed coming to the plate, Ricky Henderson. Boy, you take a look at Henderson's statistics, even this year. I mean, early in the season, but he's got some great stats. Most importantly, he's getting on base and scoring runs. He'll be joining Ralph Kiner and his friends up at Cooperstown, New York when he's done playing.
40 years of age and still going strong, and he has been the best leadoff batter in the history of the game.
Well over 200 home runs as a leadoff man. McCray is safe getting back to first. Henderson with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Look at that. Walks 12. They asked him to get on base, and he's doing it. It's amazing how he changes the complexion of the game when he is on base, whether it's first or second. He's got 4 RBIs. He has scored 11 runs. He's got 4 doubles and batting only .346. Up high to Henderson. 1 ball and no strikes.
In his career, he has had 2,999 walks.
Grew up in Oakland, California, where he became a star with the Oakland A's. Down low, 2-0. But he tells a story of trying to get Reggie Jackson's autograph for so many years, and finally, when he was in the major leagues and turned into a great player, he got the autograph. Why he did not, nobody knows. Check it. Yep, 3-0 on Henderson.
Especially with his speed, he should have been able to run down Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, he could catch Reggie. Although Reggie had good speed, but Ricky was faster.
Reggie, a great football player.
So was Henderson. Henderson said he could have played in the NFL. 3 balls and no strikes. Rafael Medina's pitch. Right there. Henderson taking 3-1. You know, it's funny, as a leadoff hitter, as good as he is as a hitter, he takes the 3-1 pitch, or 3-0 pitch. The number 3, number 4 hitter to get the hit sign, 3-0. There goes McCray. Henderson fouls it back. I wonder if Henderson, at any time in his career, even if he got the sign to hit 3-0, did he take? Because he's so programmed to work deep into the count.
Well, the one thing about him, of course, is the all-time stolen base leader is that if he walks, he can steal second. So it's like an extra base hit.
He knows he should have hit that pitch. He missed his pitch. See if he gets it again. Here's the 3-2 pitch. He gets it and he fouls it back again. You get two pretty good pitches to hit.
And he was behind the fastball on both of those pitches, so you'd have to assume that Medina is really sinking that ball up there in a hurry.
So still a full count on Ricky Henderson with 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the 6th. George Fabregas will probably be calling for a fastball, and he is. 3-2 pitch. Here's the heater, fouls it off, and he fouls it off to Fabregas. I think he got him in the thigh area that's not protected by anything.
In some cases, sometimes by fat, in other cases by muscle.
Easy, that fat stuff. See, you outfielders, the outfielders never get to enjoy that sensation.
I know, who wants that?
Oh, I remember last year, Mike Piazza got hit in that area very, very hard.
Oh, he's tough.
He started speaking a different language. Look at this. That's a good jump. It's a balk. Excellent jump. If a play was on, Derek Lee had to run a long way to get in there behind McRae. That's a big jump. Could have stole left field. Fabregas talking to Medina.
Well, the whole thing there is you got to concentrate on the batter, forget the runner.
And right here, he's not going to tell him, be careful with Henderson, because he's got a real good hitter on deck. Mets have put together a pretty solid lineup with that bat.
He's going to go to first base, but
you can't do that.
You can't do it.
3-2 on Henderson. He's late again on the fastball and fouls it back. Keep messing with that fastball, you're going to have a problem. He eventually is going to get the head of the bat out there. Medina against Henderson. Runner on second base, 2 out, bottom of the 6th inning. The struggling Marlins against the first place Mets. Fabregas once again out talking to the pitcher, Medina. And Monday, joint MSG Network and Fox Sports New York announcers Marv Albert, Walt Frazier, Howie Rose, John Andreas, Stan Fischler, and many others for a midday break full of fine food and good fun at the 4th annual Tip and Announcer Luncheon. It will be held at Madison Square Garden's Club Bar and Grill Restaurant from noon to 2 p.m. All proceeds benefit the Leukemia Society of America's New York City chapter. For more information on this gala card and event, please call 212-448-9206. We hope to see you there. And Henderson walks. So the Mets have runners on first and second with 2 men out.
Mets get their 9th walk in this game. And Bowles, the manager of the Marlins, going to the mound.
So Bowles is going to make a pitching change with Ricky Henderson on first, talking to Mookie Wilson and Brian McRae on second base. There are 2 men out here in the bottom of the 6th. And now they're going to step away with the score 3-1. Well, we'll take a look at the balk, Ralph.
Well, he had the base stolen. But because he made an illegal move, it was called a balk. And now McRae talking about that with Mookie Wilson and Ricky Anderson having some fun about that. He loses the stolen base, which he could use, and a balk was called.
Well, Rafael Medina is not happy. He wasn't smiling. He's back in the Marlin dugout. Southpaw Vic Darrensburg, the pitcher. 1-0 on Edgardo Alfonzo. Alfonzo with 1 home run this year, 5 RBIs. As you check Darrensburg's stats. who doubled in this game, takes a strike. So it's 1-1 on Edgardo Alfonso, who's 1 for 2. He's also walked. If he reaches base, he'll be followed by John Olerud. The C1 lead, runners on first and second, 2 out. There's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You seldom see a left-hand pitcher brought into a game to pitch to a right-hand batter.
The right-hander would get very excited to see the left-hander coming in. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Alfonso. Pulls it down the third base line, but foul. Henderson having a long conversation with Castillo at second base. And a 1-2 pitch to Alfonso. Aronsberg steps off the rubber. Craig goes back to second base. The 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about the Marlins struggling at the plate. They've been unable to score runs. Have a poor batting average. Rafael Medina sitting here looking at a ball game in which his team finally loaded the bases for the first time this year tonight. Up high, 3-2. That's an unbelievable stat.
Well, coming into this game, the Mets have done it 10 times.
Marlins scored 1 run when they had the bases loaded. Alfonso takes ball 4. So the bases are loaded with Mets. And the batter, John Olerud.
Mets now have had 10 walks in this game. 9 of them have come on 3 and 2 counts.
Look at that stat. Career with the bases loaded, 363. He lined out his first time up tonight. He walked and he struck out. Bases are loaded with Mets. Up high, ball 1. So Vic Darrensburg comes in to pitch to the right-handed swinging Alfonso. He walks him. Now he's got the left-hander Olerud up there. That guy's been waiting for. Does he still have the glove on? Here's the 1-0 pitch. Foul out of play. 1-1. Did you ever go to a ballpark and catch a foul ball as a kid?
Never. Of course, I wasn't sitting where the foul balls were hit. I did go to the ballpark and catch a foul ball as a player.
Did you?
Yeah, one time.
You're kidding. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. It's got to be a big thrill for a youngster to come to a major league ballpark and get his hands on a baseball. And he's looking at it. He's hoping he'll get one. The bases are loaded with Mets. 1 and 2 on Olerud. Saul McRae, Henderson, and Alfonso. Foul out of play. Olerud swinging a real bad ball, but staying alive.
And pitch out of the strike zone. It's seldom that he does that. But he probably hadn't seen this pitcher.
And the 1-2 pitch. Fouls it off.
Fabregas has made more trips to the mound than that grass can stand.
Usually when you do that, you've had trouble throwing back to the pitcher. There's not enough to say to a pitcher to go out there too many times. Remember a few years ago, Cito Gaston said Olerud will only play 1 year in New York and then he'll retire.
Yeah.
Cito was wrong. Olerud loves it here. And he's been very productive. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And strike 3 as Olerud takes a nasty slider on the corner. That youngster right there still waiting for that foul ball. The Mets fail to score here in the bottom of the 6th. They strand 3. And at the end of 6, it's 3-1 Mets.
We're going to the 7th inning here at Shea Stadium. The Mets 3, the Marlins 1. The Mets certainly ruining a couple of opportunities that were missed. Twice they have left the bases loaded, but they have a 2-run lead. And Turk Wendell throws a fastball to Kevin Orie to start the 7th. Orie to be followed by George Fabregas, the catcher. Most likely a pinch hitter for Vic Darrensburg, and Orie's got a leadoff single. So the Marlins get the leadoff man on. Let's go downstairs and visit with Matt Loughlin. Matty?
Well, Howie, as you know, the Mets' depth in the bullpen is one of their greatest strengths. But today, Greg McMichael, who's on the disabled list with tendonitis in his right shoulder, threw in the bullpen and had to shut it down. He had hoped to throw some 30 pitches, but he didn't even get halfway through that. He couldn't quite loosen up. He would not term it a setback, more of a bump in the road to recovery. He said, though, if he doesn't bounce back in the next couple of days, it can be considered a setback. But he was disappointed that he wasn't able to go the full 30 pitches this afternoon.
All right, Matty, so hopefully better news tomorrow on Greg McMichael. Right now it's Fabregas ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Turk Wendell got Preston Wilson on a foul pop to end the 6th inning, or at least the Florida half of it. Now he's given up a leadoff single to Kevin Orie, who's being held on by John Olerud. And Dennis Cook starting to loosen up for New York. 2 balls, no strikes.
Turk came in a clutch situation to get Preston Wilson to pop out in foul territory with the runners on 1st and 3rd. A nasty pitch, a slider to Preston Wilson after showing him a lot of fastballs.
Fabregas, a left-hand batter, loops one to the left field. Ricky Henderson a couple of steps in. And that's the first out here on the Florida 7th. What does that do to a pitcher? In this case, Turk Wendell, Fran, when just as Oral Hershiser had to endure earlier in the game, Marlin pitchers lose home plate. You're on the bench for a long time. Does it sometimes take you that first couple of batters before you're loose and back into it again?
I think it could affect the pitcher. Obviously not every time, but I mean, you can see pitchers trying to stay loose in the dugout when it's a long inning, so it certainly has an effect, not only physically, but mentally, because they realize that they're sitting in a dugout for a long period of time.
Dave Berg will be a pinch hitter here in the 7th inning.
As the weather gets warmer, it's a lot easier on pitchers, I think. This game is to be played in warm weather.
A strike on the inside corner to Berg.
Whether you're throwing the ball or catching the ball, you got to be relaxed. Hitting the ball, you got to be relaxed. It's tough to be relaxed when the weather's cool. Although it's really not that bad tonight, but you have the overcoat on.
It's just for show.
Okay.
A little nubber towards the Mets dugout. I mean, you're going to bring it, might as well wear it. And Berg now behind in the count, 0-2. That's an intent thing. Suitably dressed.
Maybe it is a little cold.
See, what you're not taking into account is we got these heaters in the booth here. It's like July in the booth.
I know.
She's ready for it. So Wendell strikes out the pinch hitter Berg. 2 men away. First strikeout for Turk.
Well, we showed a graphic earlier about how well the Mets have been doing with that bullpen. They have been solid. Now we'll take a look at the Delta Airlines on top of the world upcoming schedule. Florida Marlins here tomorrow night. Catch all the action on Fox Sports Net New York. Then the Montreal Expos, and a good ball club, the Montreal Expos. They come in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can see the Friday and Sunday game on Channel 11.
Trust us.
We get a couple Fridays there.
That's why they say TGIF. Especially around here, we try and throw a couple extras in.
And Saturday, catch all the action right here on Fox Sports Net New York.
You know, we try to be fan friendly. Everybody loves Friday so much. Why not bonus them once in a while? 1-1 to Castillo. So Luis Castillo bounced back to the box, flied to left, hit into an inning-ending fielder's choice.
Turk Wendell motioning to himself to calm down. Caught that ball that Pratt threw back. Made a motion to calm down.
And that missed. It's 2-1. I wonder, and I'm sure a lot of times the easy answer is what's first to emerge, but with the depth now in the Mets bullpen, is there subtle competition between people like Wendell and Benitez and Cook? Maybe not with John Franco yet.
If you're an athlete, there's competition. Now, they're not going to obviously be vocal about it, but there certainly is competition.
Well, Turk got in the 6th inning tonight. Maybe the way things evolved, especially late last year, you wouldn't have seen him until the 7th and perhaps even the 8th. But these fans have enjoyed the antics as well as the pitching of Turk Wendell. 2-2 to Castillo, and he stays alive.
Well, we've seen Turk Wendell go after hitters with that slider. So far, he's challenged Castillo with that fastball. If he throws him the slider, I'm sure he wants to break that thing in on Castillo.
All I want, Daddy, is a foul ball. The 2-2. Wendell strikes out first Berg, then Castillo, and now everybody will get up to stretch. No runs, a leadoff single, and Wendell leaves him at first. Middle of the 7th, 3-1 New York. So I was just explaining to this kid that he might be able to see some history tonight. If John Franco gets into this thing in a save situation. Remember John with 399 career saves. So these people may see a significant milestone should things go the way they've gone so far. That's leading 3-1 as we go to the last of the 7th inning. The 5th Florida Marlins pitcher to go to work will be Antonio Alfonseca. Alfonseca working to Bobby Bonilla, leading off the Mets 7th. Bobby batting from the left side. And he takes ball 1. Alfonseca was touched for a home run by Ricky Henderson last week down in Miami.
The Marlins have been very careful pitching to Bonilla.
Well, you could say they've been careful with everybody.
Yeah.
10 walks issued by Marlins pitchers.
Sanchez, who started tonight, really struggled.
Way out in front, 2-1.
Well, it's got to be tough to be a manager or coach with a team that in the major leagues you're trying to develop players. You're being judged as a manager on your one-loss record in the major leagues, not on development. The development in the minor leagues.
Good spot for that fastball on the outside corner. It's 2-2. I would think John Bowles, given his background in player development with the Marlins, will be cut more slack than the average manager inheriting a young team.
They have a lot of confidence in their general manager, Dave Dombrowski.
Fouled straight back, still 2-2.
I mean, let's face it, they are starting from scratch. They've got some good young players, but I mentioned earlier, Bobby Bonilla mentioned to me that it would have been great if some of the veteran players were still around to help make the transition into the major leagues for the young players a lot easier.
Former owner Wayne Huizenga declared we'll do nothing halfway. And Bonilla shoots one towards the left field line. Wilson hustling over. And Preston almost overran it. But Bonilla's out. One man away, and Robin Ventura will be next.
Now take a look at the New York Mets in-game box score. And a couple base on balls to Bonilla. See Henderson, also a couple. McRae walked. And a tough night for Marlin pitchers. The Mets only have 2 hits in this game. They have a 3-1 lead. The Marlins have out hit the Mets 4-2.
Both of those Met hits, doubles. They came in the 2nd inning. The Mets have not had a hit now since the 2nd when they scored all 3 of their runs. An RBI double by Pratt and an RBI double by Alfonso.
Marlin pitchers have a lot more pressure on them now that Alex Fernandez is out.
Deep to right, down the line by Ventura, and that ball is gone, a home run! Robin Ventura Mets are leading by a score of 4-1. Well, the Mets get their first hit since the second inning.
They now have 3 hits and Ventura a home run. They talk about Olerud's swing. Ventura has a nice swing. Of course, he's been very successful in the American League for a number of years. Complete player, excellent defensive player, and a real solid offensive player.
So Alfonseca's now given up 2 home runs this year, both to the Mets. Henderson last week and Ventura tonight. 0-1 to Terrence Long, pinch hitter.
There's a home run. Ventura going down and raking that ball off the sign in right field. That ball went up and hit the new Dodge sign down the right field line.
On the inside corner. No balls, 2 strikes to Terrence Long. Long making his major league debut, and he follows a tough act, a home run by Ventura. That ball comes back over the inside corner, and on 3 pitches, Terrence Long has been struck out, 2 men away.
Spring training, I had an opportunity to talk to Ventura, and I asked him, are you concerned about not knowing the league? And he said, no. I'll just talk to John Olerud. So whatever they've been talking about, it's working. And here it is working tonight. Ventura hitting a fastball over the right field fence for a home run, his 2nd home run of the season. A lot of power.
Now Todd Pratt, who has one of the 3 Met hits, he doubled a run home and eventually scored in the 2nd inning.
It's amazing how picking up 1 player helps 2 positions. You pick up Robin Ventura, you move Edgardo Alfonso to second base, and you have 2 good defensive players and 2 solid offensive players.
It gives the lineup a different look too, even though you're only moving 1 new player in, because now Ventura brings you legitimate power and run producing numbers at third base. Alfonso's numbers at third were pretty good. At second, they're outstanding.
And they were going to get better if he stayed at third. And they'll get better at second. He's going to be even a more powerful hitter as time goes on. You're looking at a guy right there, someday who hit 25 to 30 home runs, drive in 90 to 100 runs. Of course, he's batting second now, so that will take its toll on his RBIs.
Well, I'm convinced that's not just idle chatter, as Pratt draws a walk. That's 11 walks now, issued by Marlins pitching. But I remember, Fran, you saying that about Alfonso as far back as Fonzie's rookie year in 1995. Well, he hit 4 home runs that year. He hit 4 home runs the next, and you continued to talk, as Ralph did as well, about how the power would eventually come. Well, he hit 10 home runs 2 years ago, more than doubling his first 2 years, and then 17 last year.
He's turned into a real good, solid major league hitter. 2 pretty good hitters right there, Ventura and Piazza.
Ordonez not to be considered among potential power hitters, took a power hitter's hack.
I asked Mike Piazza before the game how many times he slid into third base in his career. He thinks once or twice. We know once. Head first.
Probably once too many for Mike now. Another big cut. It's 0-2.
They should outlaw that head first slide, especially with certain players. How many guys have we seen hurt their hands sliding head first?
Remember Keith Miller, his first major league game.
He did it about 3 times in his career with the Mets.
And those are running out a triple at Olympic Stadium in his major league debut. Dislocated his finger. Heat gets Ordonez. And the side retired. No runs, but Alfonseca gives up a 1-out homer to Robin Ventura. So the Mets add 1. And at the end of 7, 4-1 New York. Friday night free admission to the Pepsi picnic area is back every Friday night. The first 800 fans with a Pepsi can or bottle get to the Pepsi picnic area at Shea Stadium for free. The action starts this Friday, April 16th, when the Expos come here. So show up at Shea for free Friday nights with your Pepsi can or bottle.
The Mets have some good promotion days. They have the puzzle, Mike Piazza puzzle. Also, they have the seat cushion day as you look at Armando Benitez.
Armando Benitez is no puzzle. You know what's coming when he gets into it. Heat, plenty of it.
He's got an overpowering fastball, and he also has a slider. You know what? guy with this kind of stuff, I'm very surprised that the Orioles gave up on him.
Well, they felt it was a maturity thing. They didn't want to wait. They wanted a catcher.
Yeah. We should have tried to give somebody else for that catcher.
Threw a breaking ball to Alex Gonzalez. And Ordonez has it, 1 man away. So Mark Kotze coming up. He has 1 hit in 3 trips, but it's his glove, Fran, that contributed our play of the day.
Well, he's not. When he was in right field, he made an outstanding play to take extra base hit away from John Olerud. This is our Coors Light play of the game. Watch this catch. Outstanding play by Mark Kotze. Couldn't stretch any further. I know the Marlins are very high in this guy.
There's the fastball. 0-1 to Kotze. New right fielder for the Mets, Roger Cedeno. He'll bat to the 4th spot in the order. That was Bobby Bonilla's home. And Benitez, the pitcher, batting 6th.
Started him off with a fastball, then threw him something off speed. Why would, I mean, you're facing a kid who can swing the bat, but why not just challenge him with your heater?
Well, he's ahead of him, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's see if he comes right back at him with that hard stuff.
This guy reminds you of a young Lee Smith.
He does, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
What a fastball. Same build as Lee Smith. This is a dimension the Mets have not had in their bullpen, Fran, for a long time.
Oh, this is an overpowering fastball. Just threw the ball right by the left-handed swinging Kotze. This is the biggest thing one of the biggest changes in baseball is the relief pitcher who throws the ball 98 miles an hour late in the game.
Derek Lee takes a breaking ball, 1-0. And remember now, as currently constituted, this is a save situation. Presumably, if it remains a 3-run lead, John Franco would work the 9th. Ordonez picks up the roller and throws out Lee. So Armando Benitez works a 1-2-3 8th inning. It is 4-1 New York. And remember, Franco is 1 away from 400 career saves. I don't know what the percentage is, but if not staggering, it's certainly remarkable how many of these kids, I'm talking about 24, 25-year-old pitchers that we see here in the big leagues, some for the first time, have already undergone at least 1 successful surgical procedure.
Well, I think years ago when players would get hurt at a very young age, their career was over. You would never hear of them. So it wouldn't be, a thing where you would applaud this guy's back from surgery. I think medical science has done great things with arms. Done great things with everything an athlete has. Once again, you see Manti throw that fastball right by McRae.
So he's ahead of Bryan, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Manti, for all of his prior arm problems, still only 25 years old. He'll turn 26 until July. So hopefully he'll stay healthy and have a bright future.
It's a weird feeling when you're at the plate and you face a guy like this and you're expecting, very relaxed motion. You're going to be comfortable at the plate. Next thing you know, ball's by you. Well, it was timed at 97 miles an hour to the last pitch.
Once you see it once, is it still considered sneaky?
Yeah. Yeah, because watch how easy he's throwing. And the ball just is it's on top of you before you know it.
Breaking ball.
That's nasty. Woo. That's nasty. I'll guarantee you, Brian McRae had turned up the dial because of that fastball. In Florida, we saw John Olerud adjust his swing to Manti and hit a home run off him. Watch this. You get the dial turned up and then boom, breaking ball. Took a little bit off, nothing you can do. He's all keyed up. He says, I'm going to get the fastball. I've been late in the fastball, late. I'm going to start. He took something off and got him.
So he's sneaky as opposed to Benitez, with whom there is no mystery.
Right. You know what's coming with Benitez. Well, you know what's coming with this guy, but it just... Look at that.
He keeps getting that pitch over. He's going to have a special career.
Yeah. He's going to be a very effective short man out of the bullpen.
Ricky Henderson has been to the plate 4 times. And he's gotten on twice via walks.
Ricky's geared up for that fastball. First pitch he threw him was that curveball, and what happened was when you see a guy hitting out of a crouch come straight up, you know he's been fooled. Ricky and Ventura have been swinging hot bats for the Mets. Right there, Ricky was behind on that fastball.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Henderson.
Have we seen anybody so far catch up with this fastball?
John Olerud.
Yeah, and he adjusted his swing. If you can believe it, he went up there and adjusted his swing and shortened it for 1 at bat against Manti. I asked him about it. He said it was a conscious effort to shorten the stroke.
That was last week in Florida. Right here, the 1-2 to Henderson, and he can't touch that fastball. So Matt Manti has struck out the first 2. 1 looking, 1 swinging, and here's the author of our Dodge drive of the game.
Robin Ventura goes down and hits a fastball off the Dodge sign, the new Dodge. That's why it's our Dodge drive of the game. Robin Ventura, home run number 2 on the year.
What you call thanking your sponsor.
Absolutely.
Alfonso looks at a slider outside, 1-0.
When a guy hits that Dodge sign, you got to give him the Dodge drive of the game. You can't give somebody else the Dodge drive of the game.
Foul to the screen.
Explosive fastball. Right now, Manti and Benitez. You saw Benitez last inning. He's rear back and fire. At one time, you see these hard throwers come out of the bullpen, and they would rear back and throw hard every pitch. Now they come in, they throw hard, a breaking ball.
Manti originally was the property of the Seattle Mariners, and the Marlins took him in the Rule 5 draft back in 1994.
Hard to believe he wouldn't be protected. Of course, there's probably a good reason for it. When we talked about arm surgery.
Rotator cuff. Alfonso lifts it in the air. Pretty deep right field. Bacatse rips back, makes the catch, and the side retired. So stick around. 8 innings have been completed. It is a save situation. John Franco sitting on number 400 up next.
29th, 1984. 4 years later, he had his 100th against San Diego. Then came number 200. The next milestone was July 6, 1991. It came in Philadelphia. On June 22nd, 1994, 253, the all-time leader among lefties. Mets win, and John Franco has his 300th Major League save. And of course, on Sunday, 399, and he stands on the threshold of 400. He'll become only the 2nd pitcher in history, Howie, to hit that mark. And you know he's got to have some butterflies going.
Absolutely, and he certainly has talked about how badly he wants it. Only Lee Smith has 400 plus. Lee Smith, the all-time leader, with 478. But as far as left-handers go, John Franco has more than anyone. So again, this milestone means a lot to Franco. He's made no bones about it. But as far as tonight's game is concerned, he says he's just trying to stay cool.
Yeah, just trying to get too ahead of yourself. Just try to relax and try to think of, just trying to stay at the game and put a win. I don't try to think of this one's going to be 400 and try to throw a little extra harder or try to do something different. Just try to be the same. Try to keep your composure and just try to make it as quick as possible.
Now think of the contrast in styles between Benitez and Franco. Benitez overpowering fastball, nasty slider. Franco has a decent fastball. He's been messing around with his slider, turns the ball over, has a great changeup. He's facing a lot of young hitters in his Marlins club.
So significantly different looks for Marlin batters from one inning to the next, although obviously not all of them will hit against both pitchers, if any. The first one is Todd Dunwoody, and Franco throws strike one. This is his 443rd game as a New York Met. More than any other pitcher in team history. And almost across the board, he will get in save situations. Only if he's gone a while, and Orel Hershiser stands to win this game. All the commotion now starting to be made about Franco's potentially historic save, but don't forget Orel Hershiser with 5 2/3 strong innings, looking for his first win as a Met. Coming just another in a long line of pitchers that John has saved games for, not only here, but with Cincinnati as well.
Well, you can feel very comfortable pitching for this Met ball club if you can get 5-6 innings out of a starter. These boys did very well.
Missed inside. It's 2-2. And the 2-2 to Dunwoody.
Well, John Franco has been a friend of starting pitchers for many years. He has helped out starters by saving games. And who was his favorite? Who did he save the most games for? Well, 17 saves, 19 saves, how does Cincinnati Red pitcher get in there, Howard? Here's the guy. Bobby Jones. He saved more games for Bobby Jones than any other pitcher. So Frank Viola, Doc Gooden. Bobby Jones 28, Tom Browning 23, Gooden 19, Viola 17, Rich Robertson 15.
Missed low, 2-0. Of course, the one time Franco was not needed to bail out Tom Browning was from a clip we showed you there a moment ago. Browning pitching a perfect game back in September of 1988. 3 balls, no strikes.
And it all started with the Dodgers for John Franco.
So the 3-0 pitch to Preston Wilson. Right there with a fastball.
But once again, for the Mets, having Benitez come in and throw as hard as he can throw, and then bring John Franco in the 9th inning, an inning later, you've turned up your dial for Benitez. Now you got to turn it down.
And now it's 3-2 to Wilson. The Dodgers sent Franco to Cincinnati for infielder Rafael Landistor in May of 1983.
What a trade it turned out to be for Cincinnati and then the Mets.
Got him! And now there are 2 men away. And John Franco is 1 out away from number 400. He's gotten Dunwoody. He's gotten Wilson. It'll be up to Kevin Ory for Florida. And remember, the Mets trying for their 5th consecutive win. The early storylines have been many and encouraging. Hershiser figuring prominently tonight. One ball, no strikes. Is that the slider he showed him?
Yes.
John just showing that slider on the first pitch. And the 1-0 taken for a strike. They have a tendency to start a lot of hitters off with fastballs, and he's been trying to get away from that the last couple of years. Showing him something different, as he did to Ory here. So now the count even. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. Just off the inside corner.
When you last as long as John Franco has lasted in the major leagues, you make a series of adjustments, and once again here in 1999, he's making an adjustment, working on a slider. Steve Phillips looking on along with Bobby Valentine.
3-1. By John's admission, he's not going to work a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings.
Although managers would like to see him work a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings.
Well, he's gotten comfortable with the fact that he's going to walk 1 or give up a base hit here and there.
Managers don't get comfortable with that.
You know, the Benitez type, the pure power pitchers, you look for them to just blow people away. Here it's 3-1 to Ory with 2 outs and a bouncer foul. So the count full, and Shea Stadium will stand along with its general manager, or at least the ball club's general manager. He has saved more games than any left-hand pitcher in the history of baseball. If he gets this one, he'll be the 2nd of all pitchers with 400 or more saves. 3-2 to Ory with 2 outs. 4-1 New York. We're in the 9th. Popped him up. This should be it. In comes McRae. Out goes Alfonso. And it drops in. Ory to second base. A lot of hang time. Well, then again, as John said, he just doesn't work a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings.
Yeah, but that ball's got to be caught by Alfonso. There was a lot of hang time on that fly ball. Alfonso going back and unable to make the catch. John Franco, I'm sure, thought it was over. See, he thought it was over. He thought this ball game's history. Sure, man, like Alfonso. Alfonso's going to, now look at that. He's got to make that catch.
The batter is George Fabregas. And he takes a strike, 0-1. It scored a Blute double for Ori. Remember, Sandy Koufax thought he threw the last out of a World Series once on a force play that they ruled safe at second. Started to jump around and just did it again. And now Franco is 1 pitch away from a hop, skip, and a jump.
And he's 1 pitch away from his first victory as a Met. Laurel Hershiser.
0-2 to Fabregas. Sure, Mike wishes he were catching this moment.
Nice story. Left-hander John Franco, born and brought up Brooklyn, New York. Played his collegiate ball at St. John's and could save his 400th game at Shea Stadium. Great story.
Puck number 400 in the books for John Franco. Told him for so long in his younger days that he'd be too small to pitch in the big leagues, that he didn't throw hard enough.
He showed him 400 saves. As I mentioned, Brooklyn, New York to Flushing to Shea Stadium. It was a short trip. John Franco, congratulations.
The last 10 seasons here in his hometown.
It's a great story. Like you said, Howie, they told him you can't make it, you're too small. You never let it stop him. And we talked about the adjustments he has made throughout his career. And once again this year, making another adjustment with the slider. He's been a leader on his team also. Unusual to have a leader who work out of the bullpen, but John Franco's been a leader on this team.
So John Franco, the little engine that could, comes away with a little piece of baseball history. Lee Smith with 478 saves. And now John Franco, the only pitchers in baseball history with 400 or more. And oh, by the way, the Mets have won their 5th in a row.
They're now 7-2.